This movie isn't bad. Y'all just hate having fun, or y'all hate women. That's like literally my only excuse. Hey besties, welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Zora and I make movie and TV show commentary videos every single Saturday. Last week's video was on Sella and the Spades, and today I will be dying on the hill that is Birds of Prey. So don't forget to like, comment down below, subscribe, and turn on your post notifications so you don't miss a single upload, and let's get into it. So Birds of Prey came out in 2020. It was one of the only superhero movies actually to come out in theaters during that god-awful year. And at first it had this long name like The Fantabulous Emancipation of Harley Quinn, blah, blah, blah. But thankfully they changed it to Birds of Prey because they were doing a little too much there. But Birds of Prey takes place after the events of Suicide Squad. So, you know, Harley is freshly like single after breaking up with the Joker. And I don't understand why people say this movie is garbage or that this movie is terrible, because it's not that bad. Y'all just hate having fun. So let's get into the plot. Y'all know I'm a DC Comics nerd, and so I really do love this new opening they have, you know, with all their characters doing you know, their superhero stuff, and then it goes to the DC logo. I really enjoy that. And so the movie kind of starts off with this little animation, and it's Harley Quinn telling her backstory and kind of the events of like the previous DC movies in this universe, but as they pertain to her. So I am a sucker for a good use of like animation or opening credit scenes. Another example of opening credit scenes that I absolutely love is in The Chilling Adventures of Sabrina. I love the cartoon comic intro that they have, and so I really enjoy this movie's use of it. So in this beginning animation, we see Harley telling her life story, blah blah blah, and we also see like how she's dealing with the breakup, and Harley is so funny. Like the one thing that like actually had me laughing, because this is a fun movie, like it makes me laugh, but when Harley like cut her hair and then immediately started crying, like that's really how it be too. As soon as you try to do something different to your hair and you just start crying, like I think that's so funny. So in this little intro, we see Harley buy a hyena, because of course she does, and we also see a little introduction into Cassandra Cain, and she's like a pickpocket and she like gets caught and stuff. And we see Harley in this club after the breakup, and she can't really tell people that her and Joker broke up because it puts her in like immense danger. And when she's in this club, she breaks this dude's legs by jumping on them. Keep that in mind, that she broke someone's legs, because it'll be important later. But like Harley is off the rails, and it's so funny. Like this entire sequence when she like gets like blitz drunk, it's so funny. This was the first, like even in the beginning of this movie, I noted that the soundtrack is just so fun. Like the only thing they really fumbled with this soundtrack was not having Rico Nasty in it. Like that doesn't make sense to me. Like this is like Rico's like whole aesthetic dang near. So like I don't understand why she wasn't on the soundtrack. It was definitely an opportunity missed, but I will move on because the soundtrack's still good. And so once like a few people start finding out about her and Joker breaking up, like they do it a little too much on Harley. Like they're just be like, oh yeah, this is just short term, you know, they finna be back together. Like they gonna stop doing my girl Harley like that. But you know, Harley's a rational person, right? And so guess what she does? She blows up the chemical plant that turned her into Harley Quinn, and that's kind of like the public declaration of her and Joker being no longer in a relationship together. In terms of what I like about this movie cinematically, I really enjoy shots of women walking away from fires that they've set. I think that's so fun, and I love it. Like I love, especially with this one, all the colors and stuff, because it like turns into fireworks and stuff, and it's just very fun and very much like a FU to Joker. So then we see more introductions to other characters, and we see Renee Montoya, who is the Question in the comics, and we also see a little bit of an introduction to the Huntress. And Harley as the narrator is so fun. Like Harley is a different level of an unreliable narrator, because this plot line and the timeline just is so jumbled and messy, but it makes it fun to me. When I first saw that the Huntress was in here, y'all know my first thought was Arrow, like, because you know the Huntress was on Arrow for a little bit, so I just love connecting Arrow to every single aspect of my life and everything I see ever. So like I said, Harley's a rational person, and so of course she didn't think this through, publicly declaring that she's no longer dating the Joker, because now there's a whole bunch of people who got issues with her and want to kill her essentially. And basically the main villain of this movie, and I'm saying villain in quotations because technically Harley Quinn is a villain, so the villain the antagonist rather of this movie is Roman Sionis, and Roman Sionis is like a mafia boss, and he very much does the violence thing. Like, y'all know I can't do gore. I talked about this in my Invincible video, and like dude was like having someone cut the faces off of people, and I had to look away. I can't handle it. And then he killed someone over a snot bubble. That is so nasty. It's so messed up. Like, oh, I can't take it. And there's this whole like chase scene that happens after, you know, she gets her egg sandwich, because like I said, there's too many people who have it out for Harley, and one of those people is Renee Montoya. Harley pretty much gets cornered, but Huntress comes in and kills the guy that's about to kill her. We don't know why she does this yet, but you know, Harley's grateful because she was kind of in a bind there. So it cuts to Cassandra Cain, and you know, she's been caught for stealing because she is a notorious pickpocket at like 9 years old. So Renee Montoya is a cop. Y'all know how I feel about that. Anyways, and basically she has been like snubbed in the department. Like, she made a really big break in one of her cases and her partner took the credit for it. So now he's the police captain. And so she's working the Roman Sionis case. And what had happened was that there was like this group of other mafia leaders, and they were all like pretty much like slaughtered in this restaurant. So Renee is really just messed up. She's in a bind because the captain took credit for her, you know, discovery or whatever in a case, and the DA is her ex, and she is an alcoholic. Like, she's just not doing well right now, like at all. But the whole big thing is that there's this thing called the Bertinelli diamond, and Roman Sionis wants the Bertinelli family diamond. The Bertinelli family, it was this like big mafia family, and they were all ended up getting like slaughtered, like Anastasia style slaughtered. And in this diamond is encoded all of their like bank information, and they were like the richest family. And so if Roman Sionis gets this diamond, he could have all the money in Gotham to, you know, bribe and coerce anyone, and so he would essentially run Gotham. And so after this, we get a little snippet of an introduction to Dinah Lance, aka Black Canary, played by the Journey Smollett Bell. Y'all know I love her. If you saw my Lovecraft Country video, I am an absolute fan of her. I think she can do no wrong, and that's one of the reasons why I like this movie as well. After we get this little tiny glimpse of Black Canary, or Dinah, talking to Renee Montoya on the phone, Harley is doing what? Breaking into a police station, and Canary is on the phone with Renee Montoya talking about the kid has the diamond. But you know, because Harley is a weird narrator, we got to do some time travel here. Okay, we got to go back in the timeline. So to get a little more context, we have to what? Go back in time to before the power plant is blown up by Harley. So Black Canary works for Roman Sionis, and she's a singer in his club, and she is singing It's a Man's World, and I love that song so much, and she sounds good. You know, Journey can sing. I'm just such a big fan of her. I love this, and I love her cover of this song. You know how I was talking about the fact that I can't handle gore when I was talking about the scene where Roman Sionis had someone get their face cut off? Well, we find out that the reason that happened was because dude, the head of the family, I guess, rejected his offer to work with him, and so that's why he did that to them. But Harley meets Black Canary in this club because, you know, she's a little drunk, and Canary is of course singing there, and she's doing what drunk people do and kind of just like telling her life story about how, you know, she feels like she's nothing without Joker and how everyone treats her as if she's nothing without Joker. When Harley is kind of like talking about her like breakup with the Joker, she says a Harley Quinn is nothing without a master, and that's kind of sad. Like, I'm not gonna say I feel bad for Harley. Well, I do feel bad for Harley because her origin story is really messed up. Like, it's just a series of bad events. But you know, she's a comic book character, and I'll extend a little sympathy towards her because I do like Harley Quinn actually. So it's morning time now, and you know, Harley's still drunk, and this dude like tries to kind of like take advantage of her, but not take advantage of her in that way. Take advantage of her as in tried to like capture her, because you know, everybody got like a hit out on this girl. And so what happens? Black Canary swoops in and saves her, and she made the mistake of saving her low key because now Sionis saw that she can fight, and she can fight well, and Sionis is in need of a new driver. You remember how I talked about Harley breaking someone's legs in the beginning of the movie? The person whose legs she broke was Roman Sionis's driver. So because of Harley, now Black Canary is going to end up being Sionis's new driver. So during this part, we get a little more of Canary's backstory and her relationships with other people. And so she actually knows Cassandra Cain because they live in the same building, and Cassandra Cain's a foster kid. So Canary's a good guy, essentially. And so she tries to help Cassandra and gives her money for dinner. And then Renee Montoya comes up in the apartment complex and is trying to get Canary to help her and like be an informant for her because she knows that she works with Sionis. And she's like, your mother would have helped, I know that you and your mom have the same power, alluding to the fact that Canary's mom also had the canary cry, which is like a sonic like scream or whatever. And so I want to know more about that, about what happened with Canary's mom. But she basically explains that like, oh yeah, her mom trying to help the police and stuff only ended up in her getting killed. And so she not really down with doing that because she doesn't want to end up like her mom. So after this exchange, you know, Canary is forced to be Sionis's driver, like I said before, and she goes on errands with Zaz, I think that's his name, whatever. He is gross. That is a gross man. But basically they get the diamond, but Cassandra Cain, the pickpocketer, pickpockets Zaz. And so now Cassandra has the diamond, the Bertinelli family diamond. Then we see Cassandra make the brilliant decision to do what? Swallow the diamond because she gets arrested. Now it cuts back to when Harley was originally getting cornered, and I said that the Huntress had killed the guy who was trying to kill her originally, but you know, Harley didn't get away. There was like, she was grossly outnumbered, and it turns out that it was Sionis's people trying to get her. And it's so funny because Harley, like throughout this movie, in her narration, she'll go over like the reasons why everyone wants to kill her, and the list for Sionis is so long, and it's so funny. Like one of the reasons was that she's a woman, obviously, and then the fact that she voted for Bernie. I think that's so funny, and just like one of the funny details they just throw into this movie. And honestly, Sionis really doesn't have a reason as to why he wants to kill her. He just does. Like that's the kind of dude Sionis is. But Harley starts like pleading her case, and she knows that he wants the diamond and he isn't in current possession of the diamond. So she's like, oh, I'll get the diamond back for you if you don't kill me. And so that's why she breaks into the police station earlier on that we saw. This is what I'm saying, like you really have to pay attention to this timeline because it gets really jumbled, and like Harley keeps going back and forth. During this sequence when, you know, Sionis has her and she's like trying to come up with a reason for him to not kill her, she has this little like dream sequence because she's getting beat up, and so, you know, she's not like all there, and she does like this little number to the Marilyn Monroe movie of I think it's Gentlemen Prefer Blondes, and it's the number of diamonds are a girl's best friend, and it's kind of cute. Like I like when movies put in like musical numbers, but it makes sense. And so for Harley to be a little delusional and to drift into the diamonds are a girl's best friend when she can get the Sionis's diamond is actually kind of cool. But you know, it's a choice. You know, it's definitely a little out there, but I think it's fun. Like that's pretty much my opinion about this movie, is that it's fun. Like I'm not too critical of it. So we cut back to when Harley breaks into the police station, and she does this to try to get Cassandra Cain out of the little holding cell because, you know, she has the diamond and she wants to get it back for Sionis. And there's this little prison break scene. You know, everybody hates Harley. Like everybody has a grudge against Harley, and I love when she goes through the reasons. And so there's like, you know, a little fight scene, and it's cute, it's fun, and Harley gets the bat, and you know, that's one of her main weapons, and it's a really fun fight scene. I think it's one of my favorites in this movie. Like I have an affinity for well done fight scenes, so I like this one. I think it's okay. It is a rather long fight scene, but at the end Montoya kind of like finds Harley and Cassandra and kind of corners them, but alas, they do end up getting away. And so Harley really does just take Cassandra in. Like, you know, she plays heartless at first, but she kind of likes her. And it was funny in the grocery store scene where they're like getting their supplies and stuff, and Harley's buying dog food for a hyena. That is a whole different story. This is very much giving Tiger King, but Cassandra's talking about this is the height of luxury. You're able to buy all these expensive groceries. And Harley's like, babe, what makes you think that I'm actually buying these? Like, I don't know why she even asked that. Like, she knows who Harley Quinn is. She knew that she was about to steal them. But after, you know, they get done stealing or whatever, whatever, they go back to Harley's place, and Harley lives above Doc's restaurant, and they're just upstairs, Cassandra and Harley, and they're bonding and chilling with the hyena, you know, the stuffed beaver Harley has. Whole different conversation, completely irrelevant to the plot, so I will move on. But we do have to cut to Helena's story, aka the Huntress. Helena's real name is Helena Bertinelli. Now that last name might sound a little bit familiar, from the Bertinelli family diamond in the later Bertinelli family massacre. And so this is the reason why I kind of compared Helena's story to Anastasia's story, the Princess Anastasia, the Romanov family, because there was a family massacre. However, Helena was the lone survivor, and she's taken in by one of the assassins who came to kill her family because he found that she was alive, and he takes her over to Italy and kind of raises her to be an assassin. And her origin story is like, she essentially wants to kill all the people who had killed her family. And so Helena, after being raised in Italy to be this like sort of assassin, she comes home to Gotham to, you know, handle her business. And basically she's out to get everyone. And this is kind of where her paths cross with Harley and the Sionis whole drama. And so there's this little scene that has like no bearing on the plot, but it's so weird and it makes me uncomfortable. And this is like one of the things that they definitely could have cut out. But Sionis is all like mad because the diamond got stolen or whatever. And he hears this woman laughing in the club, and he like thinks that she's laughing at him. And so he makes her get on the table and strip and dance. Like, it's so weird and uncomfy. And I kind of wish that they cut it out because it really doesn't like do anything for the plot. But it cuts to Montoya, and she has been suspended from the police force. And now Harley and Cassandra have been found in Harley's apartment. And this dude like launches like a fireball into her apartment. So her apartment's now on fire, and the hyena is like dead. And the reason why people found where she lived was because Doc sold her out because they offered like a lot of money. And, you know, he's like, it was just business. It was just business. Like, I don't mean to like hurt you. And Harley actually doesn't kill him. You know, like she's making steps. She's making steps to forgiveness. But when Doc tells her that it was just business, that's when she starts to look at Cassandra and be like, okay, I have to like turn you in. And it's not because I don't like you or anything. It's just business. And so basically Harley reaches out to Sionis and Zaz and Canary or whatever. And it's like, okay, I'm going to turn in Cassandra and you can have the diamond or whatever. But Canary has been caught slipping because, you know, she's been working with Montoya. And so she told Montoya where they're going to meet Cassandra and Harley. And Zaz sees the text message on her phone. And so she's been caught slipping. This was an amateur move. Like, she set herself up with that one. Like, that was just sloppy. But then there's this shot of them meeting at this like abandoned carnival, and the like shots of the abandoned carnival really remind me of Alice in Wonderland, you know. And I love Alice in Wonderland. It reminds me of that, and also kind of American Horror Story Freak Show. It's a very like aesthetically pleasing if you like that kind of stuff, and I kind of do. So Harley got Cassandra's poor self taped to the toilet so she can, you know, have the diamond exit her body, and she got her prune juice. It's so funny, but it's a better alternative because Zaz is trying to cut her open to get the diamond. So I think the first option is better. And Montoya bursts into the room, but she's like drunk out of her mind, and she has no hands. Like, it's just bad. And then Zaz and Canary come in, and it's just a mess. And he like tranquilizes Harley, and he's being like disgusting with her. Like, the men in this movie are gross. Let me just say that, like, point blank period. They're just gross. So before Zaz can wreak more havoc, the Huntress bursts in, and she ends up killing Zaz because Zaz was one of the people there who had killed her family. So now Zaz is out of the equation, and the Huntress is talking about, oh, well, I've crossed all the names off my list. I've gotten everyone I need to kill, and they're all dead. So I'm kind of out of here. But then Harley essentially convinces her that Sionis is like the big monster instead of just the individual people who had killed her family, because it was because of Sionis that her family was killed. So now it's a girls team up trying to beat Sionis. So, you know, they try to get weapons, but of course the Joker's trifling self cleans out all the weapons in Harley's little secret hiding spot. So they're a little out of luck, but you know, there's still little things like left around. Like there was an Easter egg to the shirt Harley was wearing in Suicide Squad, and she keeps that, and it was a really cute Easter egg. So Sionis's gang pulls up deep to the carnival, so you know they gotta fight them, and I actually do enjoy this fight scene. I feel like it could have been more dynamic, but I really like once they go into the fun house and it's all the lights and stuff. And, you know, Harley for some odd reason is on roller skates and is fighting people, and it's really fun. Like, I think it's a fun fight scene. It could have been more dynamic. I feel like it would have been better had the music choice been different. I think that they should have put in the Megan Thee Stallion and Normani song Diamonds during this fight scene. I think it would have worked so much better, and it would have been more like dynamic and climactic and just like more upbeat. Like there's this little moment where Harley like gives Canary a ponytail holder. Like it's just like little stuff like that that I appreciate it. Like I like the small details. So they end up like moving out of the fun house, and they've kind of defeated everyone who's in the fun house. But then Montoya gets shot, but she has on like a corset under her shirt, and it's bulletproof, and so she's fine. And so after all the weapons run out and you know Montoya's been shot, it's time for the Canary cry. I can't believe we've gone this entire movie without hearing it. And you know, she does what she does, and the cry, the sonic cry, just like takes out a lot of people, and Harley uses it as momentum because one of the people had stolen Cassandra, and so she's trying to catch up with the car. So it's like a pseudo car chase, except Harley isn't in a car, she's still on roller skates. So what ends up happening is that Sionis kind of lures Harley to this like dock area because he has Cassandra, and it's very like foggy and mysterious and kind of creepy, and his voice is echoing throughout, and he's talking about how, oh, you need me, you can't be on your own, we can work together, and I want people to put more respect on Harley's name. She can do fine just without the Joker. But Harley ends up firing her last bullet, and she misses, so she doesn't even get to hit Sionis. Though Harley missed with that one bullet, Cassandra managed to pickpocket a grenade, and she, you know, pulls the ring on the grenade and throws it at Sionis, and he is now done for. So now the main enemy of this movie has been defeated, so the girls go out to get tacos, and they're like going around and complimenting each other and like giving thanks and all that stuff. Like this movie very much gives me gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss vibes. Like that's kind of like the vibe, but I'll allow it for just this once. So Cassandra ends up finally expelling the diamond from her body, and Renee, Montoya, Canary, and Huntress decide that they kind of want to work together, and they like fighting crime together. And of course, Harley ends up stealing Canary's car. Like, you know, Harley can't really work in a group like that. Like Harley isn't gonna be loyal to her. Like, is anyone surprised? No, it was just fun. This is the end of the movie wrap up. It cuts to Montoya still being mistreated by the police department, and so she ends up quitting. And so after she quit, Canary, Huntress, and Montoya are now the birds of prey, and they fight crime in Gotham. And then it cuts to Harley and Cassandra Cain, and Bruce the hyena is not actually dead, and you know, they ride off going to do, you know, illegal activities. And the end credit scene is with Diamonds, the song with Normani and Megan Thee Stallion, aka the song that deserved better. I love that song. I don't think many people give it the credit that it deserves. It is a good song, but that is the plot of Birds of Prey. So what are my general thoughts about this movie? I think this movie is fun. Like, not everything has to be revolutionarily good. Like, some movies, like, if you want to call this movie mediocre, that's okay. Like, it's not like the best superhero, supervillain team up movie, but it's not the worst. Like, it's just a fun movie to just watch. Like, I've rewatched it multiple times because I think it's just one of those movies that you can just turn on and you don't have to, like, be in awe of how incredible it is, or like you're not like super focused on how bad it is. I don't even see really the elements that people describe as being garbage. Like, I enjoy watching it. This movie isn't bad. Y'all just hate having fun, or y'all hate women. That's like literally my only excuse. Like, when people tell me that they hate this movie, I'm like, so you hate women? You hate women having fun? Like, what is it? Like, I don't really see a problem with this movie or why it makes people so mad. I like the jumbled plot of it going like back and forth, and how it's not like the consistent timeline that other movies have. And I like Harley as a narrator. Like, I love that she's a mess trying to narrate this movie, and that's why it goes back and forth. And I think that increases the enjoyability of watching it. I personally think that Journey Smollett Bell can do no wrong. I think she was great in this movie. She was one of the highlights for me. I think Margot Robbie is also a really fun Harley. I've said this since the beginning of time. I think she is a really good Harley. I like seeing characters that we don't see a lot being brought into this world. Like, we don't get to see the Question / Renee Montoya in a lot of different platforms. I like seeing the Huntress brought to the big screen, and I also like having Cassandra Cain here. Like, we really don't get to see her, so I love having her in this. And overall, I think it's just a fun movie. Like, not everything has to be exceptionally made for it to be good or worth watching. Like, it's okay for things to just be mediocre and to enjoy mediocre things. A movie can be mediocre and good / fun to watch at the same time. Like, those are just my thoughts. But those are my thoughts on Birds of Prey. I hope you enjoyed this video. Let me know in the comments down below what you think of this movie, if you think it's actually trash, or maybe I'm just missing something. But like, comment down below, subscribe, and turn on your post notifications so you don't miss a single upload, and I'll see you in the next one.